Are you not into white meat? You don't like chicken breast because it's too dry, it's too tough? I'm gonna show you the way to cook a juicy chicken breast, and we're gonna swag it all the way out. Stay tuned. I didn't plan to bring you guys on this journey today. I just wanted some butter and basil chicken, some B&B chicken. And I was actually thinking, well, you know what? Let me show people how to cook a chicken breast properly, because I'm tired of people saying, when they ask me what I'm eating, their response is, chicken? You eating a chicken breast? Chicken breast is dry. Why are you doing that? Why don't you eat chicken thighs? I don't like chicken thighs. I like chicken breast. A lot of people don't like to cook chicken breast because they say it's too dry, it's too tough, it doesn't have any flavor. You don't want flavor anyway, you want flavor. That's what you want. Flavor is always good. Flavor is, you know, I say that all the time. If you cook a chicken breast properly, it's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be good. And the problem is, people try to cook this as is. You try to cook this big chunk of meat as is, it's gonna dry out. It's gonna be dry, it's gonna be stringy, it's gonna be not edible unless you're a survival eater. And the problem is, you see how thick this piece of meat is, how thin it is right here, up and about right there. And then it gets really thick and has a lot of girth to it. No, I use girth. From here down, it's fairly thin. From here up, it's really thick. So in order to cook this top part right here, this side, to get it done properly, you're gonna dry this out and it's gonna be rubberized. It's gonna be like chewing on that tire swing when you were a kid. I know how you guys did it. I did it a few times because you were curious of what it tastes like. Yeah, that's pretty gross. But I'm gonna show you something that you can use in order to make this chicken juicy, succulent, and have a gang of flavor. This guy right here, the Hefty, he has a reoccurring role on this show. Reoccurring. Reoccurring, why? Because his importance is phenomenal. Especially if you want to flatten your chicken. You want to flatten your chicken and you don't want it to be a travesty, you got to use this. Seasoning chicken breast is very important because obviously if you don't season it, it won't have any taste, and you'll go back and you'll hate on the chicken breast. So make sure you season it fairly well. I always like to have a combination of salt and pepper on hand. I don't like to do it individually because it's going in the same place anyway. So you want to flip the chicken over, season on the bottom as well. The key thing when using the Hefty and chicken is lubrication. You want to lubricate the chicken. Maybe like a tablespoon of olive oil in the bag. So you're gonna take your chicken breast, this humongous chicken breast, look like it's been working out 6 days of the week. Just make sure you take the chicken, you just mash it around. You use your fingers. Use your fingers as much as possible to get in every little crack and every crevice. Also massages the seasoning in the meat as well. Never hurt to massage your chicken. Be nice to it before you eat it. It's already bad enough that you plucked it and, well, somebody plucked it. Somebody killed it. So just give it a little bit of love before you cook it. Transfer the love into the meat and you're gonna taste it when you start to eat it. You don't wanna have a lot of air in the bag, because what's gonna happen when you beat on the chicken and the bag is sealed and there's air in the bag, you're most likely gonna have an explosion of olive oil and seasoning and chicken and all kinds of things shooting across the counter, on the stove, on people who you're preparing it for, and yourself. You just never know how that's gonna go. So to avoid that, get all the air out first. This method is the best method, because if you're focusing on getting this chicken flat and you leave your thumb just kind of floating all in the air and hanging around somewhere, it's most likely gonna get smashed. So I take my 4 fingers, I place it on the bag, have my thumb tucked in as if I don't even have one, and then I just beat on the chicken. Important thing, do not go hammering the chicken with strength. Flick of the wrist, that's all you gotta do. Quick flick of the wrist. You wanna start with the thicker side first. You generally wanna flatten the chicken as to where you don't make it start to separate, because you can pull out the bag and it'll come apart because you flatten it so much. That means you beat the brakes off the chicken. Do you remember back when I first showed you the chicken? See how thin it is? This is what you want for an even cook. Nice thin piece of chicken. That's what you want right there. See that? Nice and thin. This is a guarantee that you're gonna have an even cook all the way through and it's gonna cook quickly. The way you can kind of tell that this is cooked when you have it in the pan, dead giveaway, you'll see it start to turn white and it'll start curling around the edges. Me personally, I like to turn the heat up really high, medium high, and let it curl around the top part of the chicken. That's when I know it's like pretty much done and it has a nice sear at the bottom, because when you drop it in, you don't want to bother it. Don't shake the pan, don't do anything with it, let it develop a good crust on there. Then you flip it over and bang, you have like this golden brown beauty that is amazing. When I say amazing, it's amazing. It's literally like a marvel to look at. It makes you want, and it makes you want to eat it. And then you're staring at it, looking at it like, how does it get so brown? How does it look so good? That crust. And then believe you me, when you drop the butter and you let everything just kind of soak in and get in there really good, listen, the butter, basil, B&B, the B&B chicken, once it soaks into that crust, it's gonna be something that's almost like seeing your child for the first time. You'll never forget it. You'll never forget it. I guarantee you the taste is something to behold. It's a marvel. It's wonderful. Look at that. That's pretty. That's aesthetically pleasing. And it's oiled pretty good because it's kind of sliding down the plate. Now that you know this, there's no reason why anybody should be hating on a chicken breast ever in life. Listen, stop hating the player and hate the game. Let that sink in. I'll wait on it. To make the sauce, you're gonna need butter that you've left out. If you have Irish butter or anything other than just the regular stick of butter that you buy, that would be better because it's creamier, has a better taste. Let it sit out for at least 30 minutes ahead of time if you can. If not, I really would suggest sit in the microwave, because when you put it in the microwave, then it melts a little bit too fast. Also basil. If you don't want to roll up the basil and chop it, then guess what? You're gonna want to use this guy right here. This guy is already nice and moist and it's ready to go. People don't like the word moist, but that's the best way to explain it. It's not dry. It has some moisture to it. And it's actually really good. It tastes as good as the just regular herb you pull out the plant, which it is, but it has a little process to it. But today, I don't feel like cutting up herbs. And I don't have any basil. This is the only basil I had in the kitchen. So to make the magic sauce, you take a pinch of basil. So a pinch can be 2 fingers, but if you want to have a nice, decent flavor, you're gonna need a 3-finger, actually your thumb is not considered a finger, it's a thumb. So you're gonna take, well, either way, don't quote me. I was always told that my thumb is not a finger, it's a thumb. We're gonna take the chicken from the hefty to the pan. And our pan is definitely hot enough. That means we're gonna have a good sear on the meat. So you're gonna take it and you wanna lay it flat in the pan. When you hear that noise, that's how you know it's hot. So what you wanna do is you wanna cook 3 minutes on each side. I like to do 3.5 or 4 minutes on one side. The reason why, because I like my chicken to be seared and have a nice little golden brown crust on it. Then when I flip it over, I only have a minute and a half to go. And I throw my butter on there and then let it melt. And it's fantastic. See how it's cooking all the way up to the top over here? It's coming over the side of the chicken. That means it's ready to be flipped over. If you don't want your butter to melt all the way in the pan and get really, really thin, make sure you turn the heat off. Turn the heat off and then sit the butter on there and let it melt. Do a nice generous amount of butter. Good. Kind of spread the butter around. The heat is what's gonna melt the butter. And you're doing what? You're hating on chicken breast? Nah, not after today. I can guarantee you, not gonna happen. Time for the chicken to come out of the pan. This is a good piece of chicken. This looks amazing. Look at this. You wanna hate on chicken breast? You wanna say that this is not juicy? This looks dry? It looks like it has no flavor? Now, if you say that and you can handle this piece of chicken, and either you have no soul or you're just a hater. Could be both. Or you don't like chicken breast. I'm trying to let it rest for a few seconds. When you pull the chicken off of the fire, you wanna let it sit and rest for maybe about 5 minutes. This is not gonna make 5 minutes. Maybe more like a minute. Get into it. This looks amazing. Which way are we gonna turn to cut it? I want this piece right here. Dry chicken breast. Did anybody say dry chicken breast? Look at this. Does that look dry to you? Anything about that look dry and hard? I don't think so. Look at that. That's amazing. You follow my instructions to the T, you should get it just right. I mean, this chicken is juicy. It explodes in your mouth. Until next time, enjoy cooking. I'm gonna enjoy eating. Oh man.